Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. We have a new show for you today. We know you like news, and we have a whole lot of news to share. In fact, there are so many countries. We're going to talk about Togo. We're going to talk about South Africa. We're going to talk about Sudan. We're going to talk about Senegal. We're going to talk about Nigeria. We're going to talk about Niger. We're going to talk about Mali. We're going to talk about Congo DRC. We're going to talk about Chad. We're going to talk about Burkina Faso. We're going to talk about La République du Cameroon. And we're going to talk about Ambazonia. So for starters, we'll start with Ambazonia. But what are we going to really be talking? There's too much trouble in Africa. And we like to share this trouble with you. People hear about trouble in Africa and they think that it's just noise. But there's a pattern to this madness. Our show is intended just to present the news. We wait, collect all the news, then we'll give you an insight, the story behind the news, which is our role. Unlike other channels, we don't just report news and make you laugh. We try to present news that you can use. We try to look at what are the undercurrents behind the events that are happening today. And this is what we tell you. Things are really tough. With the war in Ukraine, Africa is feeling the impact seriously. There is a whole lot of fuel shortage, food shortage, prices are rising. There's inflation. The inflation is even felt even in the United States of America, where we live. So what more of small countries in Africa? So things are really tough. Our people are really having a hard time, and we feel sorry for a lot of our people. But that's the reality of the world we're living in. Our people are really making bad choices. Every country tries to do things to help their citizens. But in Cameroon, for example, they do things to favor France, the colonial master. You may say former colonial master, but we look at it like the colonial master because they are still having their fingers on the heart of life in Cameroon. Okay? In fact, talk about La République du Cameroon. It looks like it's been announced that Emmanuel Macron will be visiting La République du Cameroon on July 26. Already, we are seeing reactions among people of Cameroon. Some people are welcoming Emmanuel Macron, others don't want him to visit, especially because they understand that Emmanuel Macron is coming to Cameroon to serve French interests, economic interests, political interests, and social interests. They understand this, and that's why they are ambivalent about this visit announced by the French media. But what is really happening? When you look at the tale in Cameroon, it's a really sad tale. You look at a picture that one of you sent to us a few days ago. You look at the parliament. The parliament is supposed to be a place where laws are made. Okay? It's just like a Senate and a House in the United States. But the parliament is filled with dead wood. Look at the guy who is even the Speaker of the Parliament, Cavalier Jibril. This guy has been there forever. Look at how old he is. In fact, a lot of the people look at him like dead wood. Let us show you a video of this dude. This dude is so old he cannot speak, but he doesn't want to leave power. So it's just like a guy who should really be in a nursing home looking after his health, but he wants to stay in power. You can take a video of Cavalier Jibril. Take a look at it.
Également tenu 4 séances, dont 3 consacrées aux questions orales adressées aux membres du gouvernement et au débat d'orientation budgétaire.
He's very, very old. You ask yourself, the way some of you are even asking. Another guy in French sent another video to us. He's asking himself, how come all people like this are ruling intelligent people in La République du Cameroon? Well, if he doesn't know, the secret is these guys are supported by France. They have a French army. The army in Cameroon is a French army. The army serves French interests. This army doesn't serve the national interests of Cameroonians. No. So that's why you see puppets like Paul Biya, Cavalier Jibril can stay in power forever, because they get their instructions straight from France. France tells them what to do. France is the caretaker of this plantation. France is the owner of this plantation. So you see now that nothing can happen in this plantation without the permission of France. So when Emmanuel Macron is coming to La République du Cameroon on the 26th of July, he's coming to inspect the state of his plantation. Those who have learned about slavery in the United States understand the way they used to use plantations. Okay? Plantations is where most of the slaves work, and they go to work for the benefit of the master. You have the house slaves and the slaves who are in the fields. All the work they do is for the benefit of the master. So this is really what is happening. You may say this country has independence. It's just flag independence. It's not real independence, which is why you see that there are a lot of fuel shortages in Cameroon. The people are complaining. There's no food. They don't have enough grain. So the problems are just so many. As a result, you see why the people in Ambazonia are fighting continuously. For over 6 years, they took up arms. And since 2016, they decided to take up arms to start fighting against a sea of trouble. Their sea of trouble is French colonialism and discrimination in La République du Cameroon. And you can see how things got to a head. And you know, a lot of you are waiting for our big story today in Ambazonia. The big story is the death of FMA, the Field Marshal of Ambazonia, the Field Marshal, the king. Is he still dead or is he alive? Is he really dead? Tell us. That's really the question on so many minds. So we have a lot of information. We've even looked at all the newspapers, headlines in La République du Cameroon and in Ambazonia. A lot of you want to know, inquiring minds, what really happened to Field Marshal? Take it easy. We have all the answers for you. We have all the answers for you. We're going to tell you everything that has happened to the Field Marshal of Lebialem. Of course, you know that we've been reporting a lot about Field Marshal of Lebialem on this show. In fact, he rose to prominence back in 2018. In fact, the first video we saw of Field Marshal was with his group, the Red Dragons. This group has been operating in an area called Lebialem, which is in the southwest region of Cameroon. Now we call it Ambazonia because that's the proper name. So this is where he comes from. He's a Banwa guy. So they have been fighting. But where did Field Marshal come from? A lot of you may not really know. Field Marshal used to be a former soldier in the army of La République du Cameroon. After the army of Paul Biya sent thugs to go and beat lawyers who were protesting and students, Field Marshal decided to abandon his post as a soldier of La République du Cameroon. He returned home and decided to form an army, or what some of you call a militia, to fight for the liberation of the people of Ambazonia. Since 2018 until maybe 2020, he has really been fighting. Some people even said until 2020, he's been fighting for his people. And he's been fighting ferociously. When you look at the guy, he's well built physically. He had a lot of charisma. In fact, the very first time we saw a video of Field Marshal of Lebialem was when he was warning Tapong Ivor. He said he understands Tapong Ivor comes from Lebialem, the same area where he comes from. And he's telling him to shut his mouth. If not, he would deal with him. After that, we watch another video. But it's just like a cat that has so many lives. He always surfaces after news of his death has been announced. So even this time, it's been announced that he's dead. People still don't want to believe it. Which is why this week, the army has been displaying the corpse of the person they claim to be Field Marshal of Ambazonia in the open in a town called Kumba. There's a form of eerie silence, uneasy quiet among the population because they cannot really believe it, that Field Marshal of Ambazonia is gone. It's a very big blow, and we say it's really a sad day for the people of Ambazonia because a mighty Baobab is gone. And when you look at some of the videos that we're going to share with you, the story basically is this. We understand that there are so many versions, but from the intelligence we've gathered, Field Marshal is gone. In fact, we have a video to share with you. This video was probably taken on the 9th of July, where you see Field Marshal with a few of his soldiers. You could really see that the Red Dragons, this group that used to be formidable, has really been reduced to a very small size. You are not seeing too many soldiers the way you used to see so many of them. If you remember previously, we've shared a lot of videos of Field Marshal with you. You saw a lot of soldiers with a lot of weapons. All those soldiers have abandoned Field Marshal. So when we look at this, it's like a tragedy. In the last days, Field Marshal was very feeble and weak. And when we look at the picture, he looks pale. It looks like probably he was sick. And from what we gather, it looks like La République du Cameroon used his clansmen. As they say, Chinua Achebe once said, no man, however great, can win judgment against his clan. So probably the Achilles heels of Field Marshal was that he estranged himself from his people, the clansmen who were looking at him like a nuisance. He made a lot of enemies. Even though in his heyday, he was very popular and was loved by many, in his last days, it looks like he made a lot of enemies. So one of them betrayed him. And you know, you have a lot of blacklegs. In this struggle, we understand the guy who betrayed him was given 10 million by La République. And Paul Tasson, the minister who comes from Lebialem, made arrangements for the killing of this Field Marshal of Ambazonia. We saw how a bike rider carried his corpse and delivered it to the military. So contrary to what a lot of people are saying, the military did not kill Field Marshal. Field Marshal was killed by his own soldiers. There were not many anymore, but it looks like they are the ones who killed him. You can see a lot of the images we've brought to you. Next week, we're going to be trying to get more information from Chris Ano, who is the senior brother of Oliver Lekiaka, aka Field Marshal. We feel sorry for the loss, and through this video, we're extending our condolence to Mr. Christopher Ano, the Speaker of Ambazonia. We're extending our condolence to him. His family has sacrificed a whole lot for this struggle. He may not be an angel, but we think today is a day that we have to show him some respect and tell him we feel for him, we feel his pain. Next, we can go to Burkina Faso.
Hey, yo, Shay, I thought you was gonna take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shake. When I say his services are the best in the states where he's born, he even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
Burkina Faso too is having a whole lot of issues with jihadists. There is a whole lot of Francophobia. The people are just tired of French exploitation, French colonialism. So what happened? The jihadists decided to break down two crucial bridges. So it's now difficult to transport cargo back and forth because they feel like this is the best way you can hurt the enemy. French interests have to be handled carefully because the French are exploiting the country, so they just want to derail a lot of these interests. Now the French cannot get those goods to where they want them to go. So that's the result of the breaking of all these two bridges. There are two crucial bridges and they are down. And now you can see the vehicles cannot ply through. They cannot even go to Ouagadougou, where they can take things to the other country like Mali and other places. So it's really sad, but this is what happens. Next, we move to Chad. Well, in the past, we told you that Idris Deby, the little Mahatma, the son of the old guy who died, was engaged in a peace talk with opposition groups. But it looks like he started playing games. So most of the members of the opposition, they decided not to attend the further peace talks in Doha, Qatar, which is in the Middle East. So this is what happens. You play games. One of the conditions the opposition groups had made abundantly clear was the idea that Mahatma Deby should not be a candidate in any future election. And he said no. That can only be decided during a national conference. The opposition is looking at it just like a ploy. He wants to do this so that he can still run for president and maintain the grip on the country, since he controls the military. So this is really what is putting a stalemate on the peace process. Next, we'll leave Chad now and go to Congo DRC. In Congo DRC, we're really going to show you that this is a country that is supposed to be the richest in Africa. Yet the people are suffering every day. The people are suffering every day. They are complaining. The guy who was supposed to lead the country, Patrice Emery Lumumba, was killed by colonial forces. America was involved, Belgium was involved, and so did other colonial powers. They orchestrated the murder of Patrice Emery Lumumba. Even the United Nations, which was supposed to protect the interests of the country, instead sided with Mobutu and his devilish forces, and they got rid of Patrice Lumumba. They killed him, and they dipped him in acid and dissolved all his body. A few weeks ago, we only saw a sign that this was the tooth of Lumumba, which is basically fake. But for now, we're going to just show you a video of Congolese protesting, saying that they are tired of French colonialism. Take a minute and watch this video.
On t'aime, Poutine! Arrête ce que tu fais! N'arrête pas! La Russie n'a jamais fait du mal à l'Afrique! La Russie n'a jamais colonisé l'Afrique! La Russie, c'est le seul pays au monde qui ne sont pas hypocrites! La Russie sauve le monde! La Russie défend son territoire! Pour Poutine! Poutine! Poutine, on t'aime! Poutine, l'Afrique t'aime!
L'Afrique t'aime, Poutine! Poutine, le peuple t'aime! La vérité est là! La vérité qu'on vous cache est là! Regardez-la et dites-le à tout le monde! Les Noirs aiment Poutine parce que vos parents nous ont entubés! Et le smartphone que tu tiens, mon frère, c'est avec le sang de mes ancêtres que tu n'as pas payé!
Thank you for watching the video on Congo DRC. Next, we'll move to Mali. Mali has just kicked out France from their country because they feel like they are tired of being dominated by France. They are tired of France stealing their resources. So the military junta decided to kick France out, and they have been adamant. Even the United Nations is also losing favor because Egypt has decided to withdraw its forces because it is suspending its participation in the peacekeeping mission in Mali. Then, of course, another drama occurred today. Ivory Coast is involved in a scandal. It looks like Ouattara Draman, the president of Ivory Coast, sent some guys to stage a coup d'etat in Mali, and they were arrested. So you can see the devilish forces that are working to torpedo peace in Mali. And you can really see that things are really tough in the country, and the military junta has just tried to really squash the elements of this coup. Then, of course, next we move now to Niger. Niger is a small country, but this is now the new place where France has decided to settle. France doesn't want to leave Africa. When you kick them out from Mali, they try to go to Niger. This is where they are settling. The Sahel area is fertile for the French. There are a lot of minerals. France doesn't want to leave Africa because of these minerals. So you really have to kill the French because they will not leave. So what the people of Niger have to do is to rise against their leaders because their leaders are selling the country to France. So they will continue staying in poverty, and France will continue reaping the fruits of their labor. All their resources will be going to France. Niger is very rich in minerals, but who benefits? France. The people don't benefit. And it is a shame that Mali has kicked France out, but Niger is accepting France. So you can even see the French defense minister and the French foreign affairs minister were in Niger trying to sign deals and make new deals of cooperation. Cooperation, is this helping the people of Niger? No, which is why the people of Niger need to wake up. Wake up against French interests. Wake up against French interests. Next, we'll move to Nigeria. Buhari is already preparing to leave the presidency ahead of the May 2023 presidential elections. And it looks like he's already making statements that, oh, I'm tired, I want to leave. And the people are saying, why not even leave now? Because they feel like there's nothing that he's really doing. He's just sitting there and waiting for May 2023. So instead of sitting and waiting, the country has pressing problems. Insecurity is rife, but Buhari is not really doing much to solve this problem. And the people are really angry because they need action. Buhari is doing nothing. So he's just sitting and waiting. Then, of course, he's talking about, oh, I did a lot for anti-corruption, and I encourage education as a value. My kids have good education. I did not steal money. I'm not leaving money for my kids. I just provided them good education. And I'm asking all parents to provide good education to their children. That's the version of Mr. Buhari. Nigerians have a different version. As far as Nigerians are concerned, Mr. Buhari has failed. He has failed woefully, and they think he should leave their country in peace. But of course, the backdrop of Ebola Tinubu campaigning is right there. In Osun State, we understand that the APC and the PDP had an election, and PDP won. In fact, people were really surprised that, wow, so this is a Yoruba area. Bola Tinubu lost. We thought he controlled the entire Yoruba land. People were really surprised. Then you can see the way Atiku Abubakar meets Tinubu in Osun State, and he tries to crack jokes with him and ask him a question. Take a look at the video for a minute and tell us what you think.
I say, Ojong, why are you going this night? Did they drive you for town? No. Huh? To Lagos? I just came in. Late? Yeah, why late coming? I left this afternoon.
Thank you for watching the video between Bola Tinubu and Atiku. Next, we'll move to Senegal. Senegal has always been presented as a peaceful country, but there is really no peace. Macky Sall wants to run for a third term. Same thing like Abdoulaye Wade wanted to run for a third term. I don't really know what is wrong with most of these African leaders. After 2 terms, are you not happy to leave the country so that another person can run the country? No, they want to stay there forever. As a result, the people of Senegal are protesting in the streets. And you can see the pictures. They are protesting in the streets seriously. They don't want Macky Sall to run for a third term. The third term project must fail. That's what the people are saying. They are protesting. And we encourage them. Next, we go to Sudan. Sudan is a country where a junta has captured power and they don't want to leave. And the people too are protesting because they are tired of Mr. al-Burhan, who is the military junta's leader. Most guys have been killed, but the people continue fighting for their rights and they don't want to leave. And we salute them and we encourage them.
Now more than ever, it is critical that medical facilities utilize modern, reliable electronic health records. Introducing Alexia HTC, the innovative, affordable online solution for physicians and patients. Doctors' visits, diagnoses, prescriptions, and billing have never been easier. With Alexia HTC, you can work more efficiently with the integrated flexibility medical professionals need today. Schedule a live demonstration. Call or visit us at alexiahtc.com.
Next, we'll go to South Africa. In South Africa, the political landscape is changing. There's a lot of anti-Cyril Ramaphosa feeling, but a lot of the people are seeing that ANC is losing ground and the EFF, the party of Julius Malema, is gaining ground. And already you can see now that Julius Malema is positioning himself to become a future president of South Africa. And we endorse him and we give him our vote because we think he has a lot of brilliant ideas for the empowerment of the African people. This week, we have a video that some of you shared with us. About 3 of you sent this video to us, and we've looked at it, and we want to share it with the entire audience. You can see Julius Malema talking, challenging people, even in a court of law, giving them facts. Okay? So take a minute and watch this video.
My Lord, as a younger generation in the struggle, we sing the songs those who came before us sang to put ourselves in the position they were before. And like we said, our songs are not in any way meant to engage in any literal engagement. They are songs for that purpose of the revolution, not to attack anyone. When you steal a car and you pass over the stolen car to your children, it makes that child a criminal as well, because it's in possession of stolen goods. And that child passes that car, or doesn't even pass that car. He sells that car to go and buy another car with the money of stolen goods. It remains a stolen good, the property you bought with the money stolen, got from a stolen goods. You are in possession of stolen property. Return it, please. Your parents have left you a very bad name.
Finally, we take you to Togo. Togo is also another former French colony. Eyadema, Nasingbe Eyadema, died and gave power to his son, Faure. Faure has continued the same neo-colonial policy. He doesn't allow opposition to win any election. As a result, there is a whole lot of fighting in the north, and the people are protesting. So he's really confused. He doesn't know what to do. There's a whole lot of fighting in the north of Togo. And we say this fighting would continue until our people learn to deal with their country. Africans need to learn to share power. Okay? We have two videos which we're going to share with you. One has to do with a guy talking about the value of the diaspora. The diaspora can help most of these countries reshape themselves so that they can have better governance. Okay? That's what a diaspora can do. Even in Israel, the people depend on the diaspora. In Africa, the people don't value the diaspora. The elements of the diaspora are the ones who can take Africa forward. So if you guys are in Africa and you don't value some of us who are in the diaspora, you're making a mistake.
No nation in the world will grow without its diaspora. Diaspora has always been the blessing of nations. If you think about it, everybody you know in the Bible, from Joseph, diaspora, Isaac, diaspora, Abraham, diaspora, Ezra, Daniel, diaspora. Even the idea of Jesus coming down, diaspora, that God came down, diaspora. Jesus went to Egypt, diaspora, coming back home. Israel being formed in a day, diaspora. There is no nation that has grown without a collaboration and organization of its weighty diaspora. The brain drain that we'll experience has now been converted into a potential brain gain. And that gain must be understood by organizing to wake up the diaspora to its socio-economic and political destiny in the continent. The way that we work is that every year, about $48 billion is sent home in remittances. That $48 billion is so huge, it's the biggest income in the continent. But guess what is coming to solve? Welfare economics. Money for shoe, for house, for rents, and all of that. And we know that anybody living abroad sending money home is sending less than 5% of his income. About 95% is still sitting dark in his host country. Now, if we mobilize Africans to begin to understand that they can repatriate just 20% without losing the 5% that they have before, take another 15% and repatriate it home. But that repatriation now is not for welfare economics, it's for investment in ideas. Such that it's not just Americans who are investing in Florida Wave or in Jumia or in any of these countries. Africans can pull resources together and be the one funding the local ideas here. That is the association between local ideas and global relevance. The idea that we will pull funds in our brain gain and bring it home to fund ideas. So we need more incubators made by Africans for Africans, more accelerators made for Africans by Africans, intentionally searching for ideas, investing in ideas.
Then we'll have another video of another African who is explaining to us why we're having a lot of economic problems, social problems, and political problems. It's because our leaders do not understand economics. Last week, we spoke about the balance of trade, and we spoke about the balance of payments. Whenever you have exports surpassing imports, that's a good thing. But in a lot of African countries, this is not what obtains. So you tend to have trade imbalance, which means there are more imports than exports. And a typical example is what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't make anything. They import everything. So it makes life really tough for the average Nigerian. Similarly, cash flow. There's more money going out than is coming in. That's a problem also in Nigeria, and we think it's something that we need to pay attention to.
One of the tragedies of Africa is that we have very little regard for history. In fact, now it has been cancelled in our schools. Where were we 40 years ago, 50 years ago? What have we learned from other societies like India and China and Brazil? We copy a bit too quickly and too wrongly from elsewhere. And we also copy from the wrong sources. In 1986, we had this thing called the Structural Adjustment Program dumped on Africa.
That destroyed most countries in Africa.
Everything. And I am sorry to say, I am not an economist. I was in Hong Kong visiting with a friend when we heard on television that the auctioning began in April.
Auctioning of our national currency.
Exactly. And it was 3 naira to $1.
1986.
Yes. And economists in Nigeria said it was the only way out. Now, economics is honestly 90% common sense. Why are you auctioning your currency when what to do is to cut down on imports
and boost
and stimulate local production? Why are you shipping in rice? That one began as far back as 1982, a task force on the importation of rice. I was a young man in the cabinet. I was 34 years old. And I asked the question, why not a task force for the production of rice? I was told, oh, you guys from the university, you don't know anything. In the interim, let's just import. The bill rose to $5 million a day and remained so for nearly 30 years.
From the Taiwanese?
Yes. Taiwan, from Thailand, Vietnam, and even India. You just ship your money out and ship in goods. And once the structural adjustment came, we added onto it free trade. So we opened our windows, our doors, our roofs, and any foreign good was arriving.
Dumped in.
Plastics that wouldn't last an hour in the hand of a child as toys, honey, sugar, milk, toothpicks, handkerchiefs, pins on the table. We produce nothing. If you go to your house and look around,
practically everything.
We think we've come to the end of our show. We've shared a whole lot of news that is happening this week, and we'll ask you to subscribe to this show, share the show with a lot of your friends. YouTube and a lot of the forces keep blocking our video. They don't want many people to see it. So it is now you, the audience, to try to share this video so that more people can be seeing the video. Okay? Every time we have a video, it's a struggle. YouTube doesn't really let us share the video with a lot of our people. They censor us too much, and that's the biggest problem we're facing. They're censoring our video, so they don't want people to watch it. And we're just struggling to get our videos out. So help us share this video with a lot of your friends. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.